Autobots will be vanquished forever! No! Such heroic nonsense.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Magic Square MS-B44A kin. This is their take on a metallic repaint of their Ironhide, and it looks pretty good. I'm still on a search for a perfect Legends Ironhide. I'm going to tell you about the first one, or compare it to the first one, compare it to the New Age 2.0 offering, and then we'll take a look at it in the alt mode and all of that fun stuff. But I did get this at Shows. I'll have a link down below where you can get yours also, and review code TH. But let's get and take a look at this guy. Is this metallic one better? Is it what we expect? Or is there more to come? We'll find out coming up. Here's the box. Didn't bother getting out the other box to do a comparison. I didn't see the point, but it feels exactly like the other box, except the only difference that I notice is it says A right there. I think that's the only difference. But very G1-esque. It just gives you kind of a feel, a vibe. Would like to get them back to where they have a window. You can see the figure, but that's not how things are going. But I don't think it would really be that hard to be able to at least see part of the figure, because this is how the plastic is. So it would be possible. Anyway, I'd like to see that again. All right, before we get in and take a look at this figure, I do want to say that this might be a bit of a choppy review because I am experiencing rolling power outages, and they say it's due to whether or not the failed 3 years of bad energy policy. But just want to give you a heads up if this is a little bit choppier than usual, because I don't know when the power's going to go out. So anyhow, here we go with the figure. I want to say that we have a little bit more metallic paint on the windshield, but maybe it's even paint right here on the black parts, and maybe even some paint right back here. What it looks like, and maybe even a little paint on the hips, but the vast majority of it's unpainted. This might even be painted too, but the reds are not painted. It is just a deeper shade of red for the plastic. But I do like this mold. I like this design. I think they did a pretty good job. There's a few things you can do to cheat it a little more to make it look a little bit more Ironhide-ish, Ironhide-y, but overall it does look pretty good, and that's a separate piece that was put on there. The very clean, still is a clean design, clean mold, and you see a little bit of the tire sticking out, which is not a big deal. But overall, it still looks pretty good. And since I've already reviewed the first one, I'm not really going to have to do a whole lot with this guy. But we will look at the weapon itself and comparisons and all that kind of stuff here, just a bit side by side with the first one. But let's quickly get into some articulation and then do the comparisons. Okay, articulation is side to side and up and down. On the head, we got a 360 on the ball joint out to here, bicep swivel, and it's not double jointed on the elbow. I keep thinking it is, but it's past the 90. You got swappable hands. We'll see here in just a bit when we get to some accessories, and then the hand would move. We do have all of the Magic Square ab crunch, waist swivel, all that stuff that we're so used to getting from the Magic Square. We do have tiny little hip flaps, which I know that go with the leg. It's been a while since I've played with this guy. And then back a little bit and over to here. And it's all friction, of course, because it is Legends. We do have that nice knee. We have the thigh rotation swivel in here. And then a double jointed knee, which is awesome. And you can go all the way up to there with the double jointed knee and get a bunch of range of movement with this guy. So they've done a really good job. Pretty much everything you'd expect with this. And I do like the way the hips look versus, say, Takara in their Masterpiece. I like the way the legs flow from the thigh down to the lower leg. Then we have pretty much everything you'd want out of a foot. Well, not really much down and up. It's just basically a rocker. But that's mostly what I need. No toe or anything crazy like that with it that I remember. I don't see it. But yeah, you can rotate this and you can rotate the whole foot. So that's kind of interesting, but it's still the same direction, same function that you get, but articulation is pretty decent, especially considering how small he is. Okay, my spudger disappeared on me. Here is, let me use a pencil. Here is his screaming face, and he's got some blue on the lights there. We have some hands. We got pointing finger, that swappable hands on both sides of his hands. We got the splayed hand, which I have on him right now. We have a sort of splayed hand that's kind of opened up. We have this fist that can hold the gun for the left hand. We got another right hand kind of open. We have this little attachment here That's very much so something that we're used to getting. And another little attachment there. Let's see what a couple of these look like on his hand. Here we go. This attachment, they just swap out nice and easy. No big deal. We can swap this one out like this. And we've got that attachment on there, which works very fine. And then I like the splayed open kind of hand. We can go with a little bit less splayed open, more of a grabbing kind of a hand. So I think that's the way to go with these Legends figures. But for me, digging out the box every time I want to change the hand, it's going to be a challenge. I don't keep them in the bags. I keep everything in the box so I don't lose it all. We're going to do a quick side-by-side comparison. So I'm going to have on the right side the new one. And this one is the old one. So old is on the left there. So if you look at these, I think these are exactly the same color and paint. Although that gun looks a little bit bigger for some reason. I don't have that big of a gun. His gun got smaller as he got reissued, I guess. I guess that's a thing. I just now figuring that one out side by side, that the gun is bigger with the first run than the second one. I don't know which one is more accurate. All right, getting back to the most important part of the video is comparing this to the first release. And remember, the right one is the new metallic paint. You can also tell, if you're not paying attention, that this has silver versus a gray. So this is supposed to be cartoon. This is supposed to be more real-world metallic, in my opinion, of what they're trying to do here. I am surprised that the reds aren't different. They're not that different. They're slightly different, and as you can see, but really, really close on the reds. I got this because I wanted a deeper, more metallic red. I wanted to see paint on it, and I wanted it to be kind of like we see with their Optimus Prime, and it's not really that much different. It is a little bit darker. You can see side by side there, a little bit darker. You do see a few things that are different, like instead of gray, it's black right here. So that's a thing. Same thing on the top, same thing with the shoulders, all the way around. But everything else, the silver here and then the gray there, the metallic blues even look about the same on the chest. So really, I would say I'm not going to classify this as so much of a repaint as it is your second chance to get this character. And I'm glad they did it. I mean, we know New Age will put out 6 of the same mold, and you get your option of 6 different colors, and 3 or 4 of them are very similar. And so with this is just waiting 6 months or 8 months or however long it's been, and then just putting it back out with a slight repaint. But that tells me there's probably another one coming that's going to have actual paint on it, or will be a much shinier, brighter kind of look. But I still think both of these look good. I think both of them are decent looking figures overall. Right, here he is next to New Age, and we'll kind of try to get a little bit of kind of different sort of angles on them so you can kind of see how they look side by side. I will say that whether or not New Age is actually painted or it's just a super shiny plastic, which I believe they painted it, it does feel like paint, then I like the presentation of New Age better. It gets back to the same old conundrum, though. I do like this design of the Magic Square better. I like that the forearms aren't as big, this giant forearms on the New Age. These are just, this feels more correct. And I don't think the New Age one's bad. At all. I think it's a decent figure. I just think that for me, proportion-wise, the Magic Square one fits a little bit better. I just wish it would, I was hoping for this level of paint and presentation on this figure, and I didn't get it. But I still think it looks good. I still think it's a great figure. But you're not going to get this level of paint. I mean, New Age, just look at that sheen. Look at that shine. It just presents so well. But you have to kind of try to figure out how to pose it to where you don't quite see giant under forearm. The giant under forearm is just crazy. I thought I had a way to, with a transformation, to sort of hide all that. But I don't. And I did the same thing. I got a splayed hand on the New Age one. But they both look good. If I were to recommend one over the other, it really depends on your idea of design. But I still just like that shiny presentation of New Age. And they're very, very close in design, although I like this design more. I would probably go with New Age, but you know, just what do you pick? Now for the scale, he is not supposed to be as tall as Prime, and he's supposed to be taller than the Carbots. And I feel like Carbots have been severely undersized and underscaled in the Masterpiece line. Now in Legends, and sticking all with Magic Square right here, I think all that works right. That in my mind, this feels correct. I do feel maybe he's a little bit short, maybe just a tad bit short, but it's not that bad. It's not bad at all. I like this scale, and it works fine for me. Coincidentally, that's how the New Age one scales, which if you're seeing here, that little bit of difference in size does make a difference when your whole shelf is made up of New Age or Magic Square and you substitute in a New Age figure. But to each is their own, and I'm just kind of showing you options so you can make the most informed decision. Now to take a quick look at the alt mode. The alt mode looks pretty decent, and I have to admit that versus the first version go around, I'm having a little trouble with this area. Now I did go look back, and I did have a bit of a bump out, but much more of a bump out in that area than I had last time. So not sure what I did different from last time to this time, but I will link down below my first video that has the transformation on it so that you can check that out. And I will do comparisons to different stuff than I did in the first video, so make it just a little bit more interesting. Lots of tabs on this to get it all 100% tabbed in, but he does look pretty good, and he rolls pretty well, and it looks good from all angles. I do like all of the blue that it all matches for all the windows and the windshield and all that, so that does look pretty good. Rubber tires, it feels like. It's a nice touch, and so with that, does look really good. But it's not perfect, but it gets the job done. It's good enough for me, especially since the bot mode just looks so good that I can live with this mode. The transformation is a little, in my opinion, overly complex, but I guess that's the price you pay for near perfection bot mode and a pretty decent alt mode overall. So as for alt mode accessories, you can put this little thing here up top. I don't know if that is exactly what's intended for. The hole fits just right, but it doesn't stay in as well as I would like. But I do know that I kind of missed this in the bot mode, so we'll just pull this other one. Kind of nice to have this other one over here still in bot mode. But this can fit in his forearm. And then I forgot. I knew this was a bot mode thing, but I don't see where it goes in the alt mode. It does go in the bot mode. So kind of got those things wrong. It's been a while since I've pulled all the accessories out on this, but those are the accessories for it. But it also has a hole that looks like it fits it perfect. But then again, that's just flaps for the transformation, but it still will fit this little piece in there. And let's try it again. I mean, it fits. Maybe it's not intended for it, but I remember for whatever reason seeing this. I think I saw that in a cartoon. But yeah, it's something you can do if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to compare it to something that we have not really compared it to before. This is the McFans Toys Blitzwing, and it's the only G1-esque Blitzwing in the Legends scale, which is kind of cool. Also, we have a Scourge, which is a McFans Toys Scourge. So these are a couple things I was like, what do I have in alt mode just laying around that I haven't compared it to yet? So when you go look at the first video, you can kind of get an idea of comparison. Let's also compare it to a Skyfire. That's a whole lot of red there. Skyfire and Ironhide, and that's what it looks. Yeah, that's Skyfire. That New Age one looks pretty good. It looks pretty good as a Jetfire. It's not Skyfire, it's Jetfire. Jetfire colors. All right, so what do I think about this thing? I think that it's a good figure. It's a good mold. I like the first one that they put out. Just wished it was a shinier repaint. And you couldn't really tell from the pictures, and now in hand, it's not as shiny as repaint as I would like. Versus the original one, there just isn't much difference between the original one and this one. Slightly darker red, silver waist piece. But I want to say something that these are better priced than New Age, a little bit bigger, and Magic Square stuff sells out. And when it sells out, sometimes they don't reissue it for a long time. So just coming up with an excuse for them to reissue it is fine for you to get a hold of this mold again. So I would just say, hey, I got a link down below where you can get yours while they still have it. And Magic Square stuff does skyrocket once it's sold out on the secondary market because of the design. And a lot of people want this stuff to match scale-wise and all of those things. But anyway, I think it shows you have a link down below where you can get yours. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Tell your hanger out.
When are we gonna start busting Decepticons? I want